what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode 4 of Mighty Modelers, which will be a very different episode for a very different type of modeler. First of all, I'm going to point you guys to go enter into my giveaway for the Airis Cloud Drive, which will be happening in the next couple of days. They will do it on December 1st. It's going to be around December 1st. My Kemper finally came in. Man, the Kemper has been around for a long time now. And it's something I've always been interested in, but I just never had a reason or the real inclination to pick one up. But obviously now that I'm doing this channel and doing this series, I was very interested in picking it up. Particularly both this and the Quad Cortex. It's a very interesting thing. So I've always used the Line 6 products. I was a Helix user for a couple of years. Always loved it. And I've always used modeling kind of along those type of lines. And it's so very interesting to step into the world of the Kemper, because the Kemper community and just the idea, the mindset behind the Kemper is so totally different than other type of modelers. So for instance, I've said on this channel before, and I do still feel this way, that I'm generally not a quote-unquote fan of people selling their Axe FX presets and their Helix presets and stuff like that. At the end of the day, you do you, whatever works. If you want to buy somebody's presets, which is literally just their settings, go ahead. There's reasons to do that, but I think they can be a little disingenuous sometimes too. But anyway, the Kemper is totally different. It 100% relies on people making quality profiles of their amps. And it's very interesting because to me, just from the very preliminary testing that I've done with the Kemper and from what I've heard from other people, I so far agree that the Kemper is not really a tweaker's device. The Kemper to me is for somebody that wants to just hoard a bunch of presets or just have a few, profiles I should say. Wants to either hoard a bunch of profiles or just have a few that that they go back to. And that's totally fine. The Kemper, I'm so far, well, alright, let's put it this way. When I first plugged it up, there's already some STL tones amp presets, well, profiles in here from this one that I just bought used. And they all sounded okay. But at the same time, I scrolled through a bunch of the STL tone ones and they all sounded like the same amp. They're supposed to be totally different amps. I was like, that's interesting. Maybe somebody named something wrong there or something. I'm not sure. But I wasn't terribly impressed. Then I went and set it up to make my own first profile, which was of the Dover DA20. Why I chose the DA20 because the DA20 is very much a unique sounding amp to my ears anyway. It has a top end distortion that sets it apart from other amps to my ears. And the Kemper to my ears, again, this was my very first profile. It did a very good job of emulating the DA20, which to me was a great sign. So from there I was like, alright, now we're cooking with gas. So before we even jump into what this thing sounds like, it sounds great. Yes, I do. So first of all, I have all of these amps here. I don't intend to keep all these amps. I bought them for comparisons and everything, but I have like 2 to 3 amps in mind I'm going to keep for right now before reselling them to get new stuff to bring on the channel. That's how things work around here, because I don't work with the companies. They don't send me things to demo and review for you guys. So I do 100% intend to put both free and paid profiles out at some point soon. I'll probably have some free ones out within the next week or so. But the way I plan to do this is to probably just do somewhat basic ones for the free pack, for the free ones I'm going to put on the Rig Exchange, and same thing when the Quad Cortex comes out. I mean, I'm probably going to put all the settings to noon on these amps, profile them, make sure that I'm happy with the quality of them and that they do match what that amp sounds like at noon, and then put them out for free. That said, each profile on the Kemper is very much dependent on how that person dials in the amps. And although I think the Dover, for instance, a lot of these amps I'm going to be putting out, they do sound awesome with everything at noon. But that said, I do intend to make like 5 or so presets, 5 or so profiles on both the Kemper and the Quad Cortex with various settings dialed in. And those will be the ones that will be included in paid packs down the line. But we'll talk about that later. For right now, I just want to show you how freaking cool that this thing sounds. Now, I bought an unpowered Kemper, so I'm currently using my Electro Harmonics 44 Magnum power amp pedal. So that's, of course, coloring the amp's sound some versus the actual power amp of the amps we're going to use. So we're gonna jump back and forth between the Kemper and the Dover DA20 and the Kemper and the KSR Artemis on its teal. I'm calling it teal. It's the color of it is teal right now. But these are my preferred settings for the Artemis. So we'll see how it does. We're gonna start with the Kemper and the Artemis. Here we go. This is the Artemis. This is the tone that I profiled from the Artemis. Kemper. Artemis. Kemper. Now this sound is a sound I would use with a boost. So let's go ahead and turn on the KSR Airis. This is the Kemper. Artemis. So yeah, to my ears, that's very, very close. We'll see how it sounds on the recording afterwards. I'm very curious about that myself. But that said, let's check out the second preset that I did, which is of the Dover DA20. So this is the Dover. Oh, boosts are off at this point. It's just straight into the Dover. Kemper. Dover. Kemper. Yeah, so I think that's gonna be perfectly fine to underline my point. I will so I'm still getting used to some of the intricacies of creating these profiles. And I noticed, so you probably noticed that the Kemper was a little bit brighter than the DA20 there. Yeah, I know why that is. But that's it still sounds like the freaking DA20. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to diving into profiling all of my amps and sharing all of this with you, some free, some paid. Look forward to more information for that in the coming days. But yeah, Kemper's super cool. Hey, you guys take care.